All right, this is HRM, Cesar St. Augustine de Buonaparte, past presidential candidate, also known as Reality Supreme Being on YouTube. This video is in answer to the alleged President of the United States and his press conference this morning about the budget and about the cuts that they're doing to employees, federal employees in the government, because they couldn't reach a budget. The President talked about all kinds of things. He talked about the gay marriage. The reporters asked him questions. They also asked he also asked the reporters, told the reporters, well, there's a bunch of smart people in here in this room. He complimented them. But before that, he said, but if you're making suggestions, I'll be glad to hear it. Well, you know, the President and Congress have all these people that are working in the background for them. I call them sequential order programmers. That means that they set up ideas like a think tank. Let's just say all congressmen, all senators, mayors' offices, governors, they have people working for them that are working like a think tank. This think tank comes up with proposals and ideas. Then they try to use the computers to sequential order them in such a way, like a jigsaw puzzle, that would work the best solution for everybody. Unfortunately, they screwed over, through neglect or through intentional interference, screwed over people's lives like me, who are way far more intelligent than they could ever be. And there's a lot of us out there, believe it or not. They're in the silent majority. There's a lot of voters out there. There's a lot of people that really agree with me, and the number is growing. So eventually the government is going to finally go, well, he's already told everybody, those that listen to all his videos and they have an advantage. They know that I rant and rave. I'm pissed. I'm a very bitter person, but you would be too if you had all the stuff that happened to me happened to you. Now, I make predictions, but this isn't invisible psychic ability or anything like that, like, ooh, Twilight Zone. No, none of that at all. All of it is based on factual, common sense, factual information, current events, past events, and computer knowledge of how to set up computers so that they give you the best scenario, which the military does, by the way, all the time, or scenarios, plural, for the best solution for any number of the huge multitude of problems that face federal, state, and local officials. Now, in the past, all 400 videos show me, and I'm ranting and raving, and I'm talking about water beings and invisible things that are all around us, and I talk about dimensions and even aliens. But, you know, you got to remember, I have done all these videos without any rehearsal whatsoever. I think, except for, there were, I think, 2 or 3 videos that I wrote some notes down, just some starting sentences, just the words that helped me remember what I really wanted to talk about. But that's not rehearsed. So the president is up there, the alleged president, and the Bilderberg president, the puppet president, just like George Bush and Clinton before that, and all the congressmen and senators. You know, if you had to sit and think about all of the gossip and all of the scenario proposals that are going on, you'd go nuts. How do they do that? In the movie Dave, Charles Grodin sits there with Kevin Kline and he says, how does the government do this? They don't balance their books. I don't know how they do this, how they stay in business, how they're able to get away with what they're getting away with. And watch the movie Dave. I mean, you hear him say that, but that's the writer giving Charles Grodin a line to say, a line about something that exists within society and is currently going on over and over again. The president talks about cooperation between Congress and his office. He doesn't have all the power. That's pretty much what he said this morning. Yet they're going to cut all these federal employee wages because by 12 midnight, they don't have a, quote-unquote, balanced budget. Well, hey, stop the war in Afghanistan right now, and you'll be able to knock off a hell of a lot of money. But see, it's more than just the soldiers getting killed. It's more than just the children getting killed. It's more, you have unintelligent leadership. And there's so many people with their fingers in the pie in their multitudes, hundreds and hundreds of think tank employees behind the facade senators and Congress people and state legislatures and governors and mayors. There's so many people behind them, How do you get anything done? This is bullcrap. Now, let's talk about cooperation. You already have cooperation all over the country. Yeah, there are a lot of people that bend the rules, and and rich people that aren't paying their fair share in taxes. And there are people in the middle class, of course. This Bilderberg president, they're always central focusing on that one point. The middle class, quote unquote, they're the most important people. No. If a man gets up there, or a woman, and they're president, and they say, I have to be all the people's president. You're not all the people's president, because you just contradicted yourself, because you just said that you're not a dictator. You have to share the power with Congress and the Senate. So, hey, do I need to remind you what I just said? Do I need to repeat it? I don't think so. I think a lot of you are going to realize, no, Caesar's not nuts. As a matter of fact, we probably should have drafted him more than 20 years ago and put him in charge as a dictator. We wouldn't have this problem right now. See, the problem we have with any society, and it doesn't matter where you go in the world, it gets back to DNA stimulation, and how you're able to manipulate it and bring it to the surface so that it benefits people everywhere, or at least the majority of the people, as close to 99.9% as you can get. But that's not going to happen. Instead, they talk about making these difficult choices and blah, 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 and everybody gets their 15 minutes of fame, and this presidential conference goes on for, 20 minutes or so, and a president is answering questions, and he has a list. They're all trying to raise their hands, so that process has been changed. They now go by who's on the list first, and that's how they pick out reporters now to do that. I don't know if you people noticed that, but that's what he was doing. So it isn't about all of the stuff that you've heard on the surface. What's important is finding people that multitask, special people like me, that multitask so fast that most of the highest top secret people in the government, in the annals of government right now, the smart ones that have really taken notes on all my 400 videos, and I know they have said, that, and I know the message has gotten to the president, to some senators, some congressional representatives, whoever they were. I know it's gotten to them, even though they'll say they never heard me. They'll say, we screwed up big time, because this guy's really pissed off. He's never going to give us anything. If he does have a secret, some fantastic multitasking secret of being able to formulate and put into correct sequential order, and the sequential order I'm talking about is the best benefit for everybody, he's not going to tell us. And we've taken apart all his videos, over 400, and he still hasn't told us. And you know why he hasn't told us? The media has censored me. The government has censored me. Even YouTube gave me trouble. Now, a lot of computer experts will say, oh, Caesar, you were just having trouble with the computer system. It was up, it was down, it was this, it was that. It wasn't anybody high up interfering and hacking on you. Yeah, they have. There's no doubt in my mind. But, again, that's not really the issue. This particular YouTube right now is in condemning not just this alleged Bilderberg president, or rich people's president, because he is, and so are the Congress people, and so is the Senate. It's pay-to-play politics. If you have the money and you can pay, you can play. And that, again, that's not what it's all about. And the sad part is that people like me, because of my teeth, I'm dying slowly, and I have other problems too that I'm not talking about right now. And I welcome, whenever my time comes, I really want it to come much faster than what's coming. But you people have contributed to my death. You've contributed by taking my property, destroying my life, and you don't want to admit to it. And that's the saddest part. And when you don't want to admit to the carnage that you've created in my life, then there's no hope for any of you. Stop getting on TV and having a presidential conference, or a senatorial press conference, or a congressional press conference. Stop getting on TV, and at the state level and at the local level, stop getting on TV and telling people you're actually trying to do something about it, because you're not. You're not utilizing the technology you have now to its fullest. The Sequoia computer, for instance, has the ability to do what half of the world's population let's say 3 billion people with hand calculators doing 1 million calculations per second, all at the same time. And that's what the SpeCiAL computer can do. That's a lot. Is that computer memory, is that computer tabulation, and the speed of that computer system, is it really being utilized for the best possible benefit, end result? No, it isn't. So this press conference has a lot of contradictions in it. And the biggest one is cooperation. They talk big about cooperation. Well, where was the cooperation, Mr. Bilderberg, Rick President, when I sent my fax to the White House and I was in the house at DeSoto and Hart and I was being harassed, intimidated, prejudicial treatment of every kind you can imagine, and finally somebody set fire to my house after I had already started moving out. This isn't, and when Chase took it over, and I think Chase Bank was behind that arson at my house at the corner of DeSoto and Hart in Canoga Park. You people don't respect people's privacy, and that's the biggest thing wrong with your country. You gossip too much behind each other's back. You don't tell people up front what's going on. You think, ooh, we got to keep it top secret. We can't release this because these set of circumstances released in public might affect the stock market and then would snowball into something terrible and out of control. Oh my God! And we can't control our government. People stop at stoplights. They're cooperating. They're not killing each other at every street corner. They're not, they're all upset about the gas prices. But they cooperate basically with the law, with most of the laws. So why are you having such trouble at the highest level of any kind of cooperation? It's because I call it, like the traffic jams are called gridlock, I call this think tank gridlock. That's really the problem. Think tank gridlock. You have gridlocked yourselves into a catch-22, multiple catch-22s, where you can't push in any direction without toppling over someone's ego or whatever. And, if I'd been at the press conference, I would have told people, lay it on the table. Tell everybody what's going on. I don't care if it violates secret policy and the president can be impeached because he's releasing top secret information. Screw that. The books all need to be open. You need to be up front with the people. You need to stop lying to the people. And there are a number of ways that it could be done for the White House separately, for the White House especially, that would work like a charm. Unfortunately, the person who would be the maestro conducting this thing is sitting here doing YouTubes, lost all his buses, cars, boats, motorhomes, lost his ability to move to Colorado to my own 40 acres, I was sabotaged over and over again by the unfair color of law. This wasn't about eyesore-ism. This wasn't about being a pack rat. This wasn't about anything other than you people were scared of me. You're always scared of above-average intelligence. Okay? But you're frightened to death of intelligence that reaches levels like I do. And I think that there are people at the highest level that have gone through those videos and they say, this guy's very smart. He's learned a lot in the last 30 years, and he's also been intimidated, hurt, and destroyed in the last 30 years. And we're never going to get anything out of him. And they don't even have the common sense respect to offer or pay for me to leave this America, which I hate forever. The word hate, I've said this before, is a nice word for what I really feel about America. You have violated every one of the civil rights that you claim you're supposedly defending in Afghanistan and in Iraq, and where you're killing innocent men, women, and children with your tax dollars, and you say, well, those are the fortunes of war. And you're all full of it. So yeah, I'm a maverick, and yeah, I do know more than I should probably, and it probably would be very, very wise thing if I didn't know anything, because then I'd be stupid like all of you, and I'd let the government step all over me like they're doing to you now, because you're hooked. They've got you addicted on your cell phones, your computer tablets, your own personal little life. I mean, none of you ever open your doors to any homeless people because they have problems. The Salvation Army, for instance, won't provide a bed for someone who's intelligent like me. They'll only do it for people who are drunks and drug addicts. Get that? That's what I was told once by the Salvation Army. Now, what kind of, and if I am disabled and I have some kind of mental problem, I've said this in one of my other videos, is this how you treat mentally disabled people? If you're going to call me crazy and don't even have the bachelor's degree or master's degree, any kind of background that would qualify you to say someone's crazy. If anyone's crazy, it is the president, it is the Congress, it is all of the American citizens that vote for either Democrats or Republicans or even independent parties. Because you're voting for a quagmire, as Teddy Roosevelt used to say, is one of his favorite words. You're voting for a quagmire of think tank gridlock and egos. Who's going to be on the media? They spend a whole day sometimes figuring out what they're going to do on the media. And the sad part is that a person like me doesn't have any rights. You've already raped me of everything I worked for the last 30 years. So why would I want to say anything good about any American citizen or anybody at all? I challenge the Congress, the Senate, state legislatures to follow me and do everything I do, what I, in a common day, the kind of day I've been forced to live in now. I challenge them. And you know what? Not one of them are going to answer. Not one of them are going to sleep outside in the cold. Not one of them are going to watch some stupid cop car from the street flash their light on you at 2:30 in the morning. What, to see who's there? You know who's there. You recognize my bicycle. I hate the LAPD. They're all garbage. And so is the fire department. And so is anybody else who's in an official capacity in LA. Because every one of those people contributed, and the taxpayers contributed, to my demise. And instead of you people banding together and saying, this shouldn't even happen to even one person in this country. This is wrong. Big wrong. No, you just throw scraps to the homeless people, and they take whatever money they get, and they barely push a life existence on that. And if they're not on entitlement programs and they're out collecting bottles, plastic bottles, glass bottles, aluminum cans, just to make ends meet. And they spend all day looking in dumpsters and trash cans and everywhere people throw away the aluminum cans and bottles and stuff. And it's sick. It's beyond sick. You worry more about the middle class than you do about the people that could make a difference. Like I said about DNA is unpredictable. You don't know where the diamond in the rough is. You actually don't know because you never talk to them. You don't make a special effort. You make a special effort to have your presidential conference on TV, and Channel 2 News is covering it every second, to tell everybody that, oh, these are hard decisions and federal employees are not going to be docked wages after 12 midnight tonight. What this country needed to do a long time ago was sit down with me and have a concerted effort, a discussion, a negotiation of power transfer. Yeah, that's what I said. Absolute dictatorial power transfer. Because you are doing the wrong things. And you are here at this point in time, Mr. Obama, because I don't believe you're the president. Because you were elected by taxpayers who kill innocent men, women, and children in Afghanistan and Iraq. And so do you, Mr. Obama, because you pay taxes too. And every cop, every judge, every lawyer, every middle-class family, when you look at your kids in the face, remember those pictures I showed you in my other two videos. Those are children that were bombed by friendly fire, killed, whole families destroyed, because you want to get oil in your car. You people really should tune in to the movie made in 1975 with Robert Redford and Faye Dunaway. I watched it last night, again, just for the heck of it. 3 Days of the Condor. And it really will enlighten you. In the movie, Robert Redford says, are we going to invade the Middle East? And this is in 1975. Think about it, people.